Hello, hello. Am I alive? I should be. And there should also be music this time. Okay, so I'm working on a new gameplay system, which is gonna be the seals. So for the roulette game, you have obviously the wheel, and so cards have modifiers. You have contraband cards, which is like a two-piece card. You have the chips, of course, and you will have, well, you have inverse cards, you have flipped cards, and so I want seals, which is going to be a modifier on the pockets. So instead of just building your deck around like chips and cards, you have more options whenever you go like build for a wheel, if that makes sense. Which will then be modifiers, right? So you play your cards, and then spin, and then based on the pocket that lands in, the pocket will do it. Like in the normal trigger in the pocket is just, it's gonna give it score. Okay, so I need to tie it into the trigger, because right now how the system is set up, I'm gonna draw just because it makes my life easier. Create new image. Basically right now a ball lands, that's too small. A ball lands in a pocket. And then what happens is after the spin is complete, it's just gonna take the points from the pocket. So this is the total score. I'll make it a marker with S. And it takes the wait a sec. The score, adds it. Very simple. Then it starts looping through the buffers. So there's an entire buffer here with all the chips and the cards. So first it's gonna trigger all the chips, play its effects, and then play the card effects, and then based on the effects stuff is gonna happen, but usually we'll end up with points to the score or triggering something else or whatever. So I need to rework this because now the pocket is an actual trigger as well. Like it's gonna have modifiers and do different things, which means it might have to be added to the buffer. Because if I look at the code right now, I need to go to logic. Well, let me close all of the scripts. And I go to and spin. Here, the first function. Current score, yeah, so this line, it just takes the triggered pocket and just adds the score. And then manually from then on, wherever you land in a pocket, it just adds that score. It's obviously not something that we want. I mean, it's something that we want, but we want to do it differently. So here it checks if trigger pockets are not empty. Last spin pocket is, yeah, sure, that makes sense. So instead, I think they have to be added because the spin, where does it create my spin buffer? Setup turn score. Wait, but the end spin, the score label is already displayed before, right? Effects layer, add flying label, no. Yeah, I feel like that already triggers. Wait, I need to go here. I'm also still eating. And spin triggers. So here it just runs the buffer. Okay, so the buffer is created somewhere else. Where does the buffer get created? In the start spin? Yeah, okay. So I think there needs to be another... No, I don't think pockets need a buffer. I think you just need to call a function on them that returns the score or whatever. But I need to check what kind of different pocket effects we have. So if I go to my drive... Where was this? That's a good question. It's gonna be in here. This doesn't leak anything. Oh, it was not in a drive. It was just seals here. Rainbow changes the colors. That's fine. Purple. This pocket now counts as red and black. Or rainbow makes it count as everything. Purple makes us count as red and black. Imaginaries pocket counts as even and odd. Centurion is basically like a trigger. You buy it, it gives plus 100 points. Whenever the ball lands in this pocket, drop another ball. So this is the main trigger effect, right? There's another on-buy trigger, destroy the pocket. Whenever the ball lands in this pocket, gain money. This is also a trigger. Okay, so we just need to check if the pocket has a trigger and then call it. But I have to do it on every single instance where a ball lands in a pocket. Which is annoying because a lot of cards have balls that spin. And then on timeout, just take the score. So I have to manually... Yeah, that's fine, I guess. It's what happens when you introduce new mechanics. So I can actually keep the logic here. Which is just take the score of the pocket. Because that I'm not going to change. There does not need to be a return function for the score. There just needs to be a function to also check, hey, should you do something, right? I mean, I can also just have the function that is like, hey, should you do something? Then return the score. So you call it and you can use it as a value as well. Let's not overcomplicate things. Let's go to my pocket. Which right now stores number. Every pocket has an ID. They have a cached color and a normal color. Then they have a number type or the odd or even. They have a score. They have the flag to turn on odd and even. Rainbow flag, which is currently unused. No, I think it is used. But it's different from the rainbow tag or whatever it's called. And destroyed. So I need another export variable, which is gonna be a pocket resource. Let's create that first. So I need to create a new script which goes in. Is it in classes? It's in scenes, right? Because I think card resource is in its scene. So if we go to pockets, all chip effects, roulette pockets, create new script, pocket resource, which inherits. No, I need to do no, not a pocket resource. I need to do the tags only. Yo, hey, what's up? How are you doing? Welcome. If you have any questions, you can always just ask away. It's not a pocket. It will be a seal. So should it even be in the roulette pocket? No, I guess so. Seal resource. Great. So a seal class name, seal resource. We'll have an icon, right? ID, of course. Export bar ID and export. I guess the name and translation also have to be in a, or name and info also have to be in a translation file. So export var, I'm gonna just copy it from the chip resource. Here. Export var name and info to seal resource, and then I need to copy the function. So it uses the find function, which has the setup formatter and the format function. Base number formatted, format, basically all of this. I mean, it's very boilerplate, both the card and the chip use it, so I could put it into like its own class, right? Which is called format translate class or whatever. But I think they are still slightly different. Yeah. They are still slightly different. Setup formatter. I guess I don't need to do this. There's no dynamic formatting I need to do, right? No property values that I need to format into something else. Because for example, no chips. Oh no, there is. One of the chips has plus 100 points and plus 5 gold. These two, I guess, could be a hard-coded value or could be dynamic. It should be dynamic. I should, so that way we can create more seals in the future. It will be easier. So actually, seals will also have a seal effect. So I don't need to delete anything. Seal effect is equal to 0. This will also have an export var seal effect, which will be a class that I create called seal effects. Again, is this not overkill? Creating a double class in order to just create a new system? Because I could create resources that just inherit from this and then mess with the code. But I'll keep it consistent for now. With how I do the other systems in the game. Is, well, instead of chip effect, this will be seal effect. Also, let me know if everything is readable on stream. I try to increase the font size a bit. But I know the editor itself and stuff like that is still very small. Shouldn't be important though. If engine property hints. Okay. I think all of this I keep the same. Check if there's a color format, sure. Chip effect, this is also seal effects. Seal. And then that all makes sense. I just need to create a new script now, which is the seal effect. Do those go into the scene script as well? Yes. Create new script. Seal effects, which inherits resource. Class name seal effects. And then by doing this, I should have removed all of the errors. No. Identifier formatter. Not. Did I delete something? I think I did. Chip resource. Formatter is a dictionary. Okay. That I need to add. So there. And that should have fixed it all. Nice. This is good. Okay. Okay. So I'm basically just creating, like, this game works heavily with resources. I have, I'll do a video on this as well, maybe at some point, but so I have cards which are a resource and they hold an effect resource, which just, whenever they trigger, they're just gonna trigger the effect. So that way I can just duplicate all the resources and it makes everything very streamlined, very simple to set up. It's like working with Lego bricks. Same with the chips, they have a chip resource and then they have an effect resource plugged in that I can customize again. But the pockets are just pockets. Like right now, I don't have, they just exist. They have a point value, which is a point and a color value, right? And they interact with the cards and everything. But because I now am making a modifier for the pockets, like a seal that you can slap on, I will be creating the same kind of resource setup where I have the main seal resource with an effect. And so that way, but I wonder if I should just create the seal effects. No. So that way I can like check, hey, do they have a trigger or not? And they can modify the pocket however. Love a video, yeah. It's a bit more complex though. Like I have been trying to do more beginner friendly stuff because the issue with game dev content is that only beginner content does well usually, because most of the people that watch content on game dev are people wanting to improve and learn like the basics and stuff like that. So simple tutorials and like 5 big tips on how to do this or that. I've not been doing that much because I think it's boring. But I would love to do more like in-depth stuff. Because I did a video on resources that is doing okay because it's more beginner friendly, right? And this kind of just builds upon that. But game architecture, I'm very interested in game architecture. I love talking about that, thinking about that and designing it. And there's not many good videos on it. There's only the ones about like scripts, like architecture, like the basic how software engineers do it, right? Like an interface, adapter, all this sort of stuff. But for gaming specifically, you have like the state machine, you know? Anyway. Need to check chip effects. Tool script as well. Okay, so when chip effect is an abstract because I mean the effect classes themselves are not instantiated. You're inheriting them to create custom effects. What will be the core mechanics of this game? It's like a bilateral roulette game. So you build a deck, create some chips, and they all interacted like odd pockets, even pockets, with cards in your hand, with draw. You know, the usuals. And you have special effects, you have inverse cards. And then basically you need to just beat the score using your cards. And then you play them strategically. And you have a roulette wheel go off and you have like 5 rounds right now. Everything is still like up for change. We're still in the early stages. We're just getting the gameplay loop finished. All the visuals need to be upgraded, of course, but this is the core idea. And it's just been in the works for a few months now, I think. And within a few weeks, we want to have a good enough demo ready that we can actually start playtesting a bit. So I'm hard at work to get things up and running. Wait, so what was I doing? It's the issue with me talking. I forget what I'm doing. Oh yeah, I was checking the chip resource here. If I need to... Yeah, so play animation. No, pockets have... I don't know if I need the play animation function. Does a pocket, like, I guess I can see if the rainbow triggers? No, they just have an immediate effect, right? No. But I guess the seal can be a scene by itself. because it's part of the pocket scene, but it shouldn't be within the pocket scene. It should just be overlaid on top. So I guess I can do a play animation. And then, oh yeah, flying label. Sure. And then I'll open my seal effect. So this is going to be an abstract. And it will have a reference to my seal resource, which is a seal resource. And then it will do seal resource dot. I guess I need to create a seal scene as well. So this all should go in its own folder anyway. So if I go to the seal resource, this should also have a reference to our seal to a seal, which doesn't exist yet. So I need to create it. So let me just create a new folder. Seals. And I'll move my seal effect and resource in there. And then I'll create a new script, which is gonna be seal, which inherits Node2D. Wait, what does the pocket inherit? Is it area 2D? I guess area 2D makes sense. Wait. Yeah. I mean, does it make sense? It doesn't matter, right? If it's just a node 2D. I'll just do node 2D. Seal inherits node 2D. And this one needs a class name as well. That's one lifesaver that I will do forever until the day I die now in game dev, which is just give everything a class name. If you can statically type everything with a class name, you're so bug proof. It's not even funny. And you can more easily find like properties and everything. Oh, how's the music? I don't know if I like this. I have to play non-copyright music on YouTube, so it's like very hit or miss. No, I don't need to be in the chip resource. I need to be in the seal resource. This now compiles. Seal effects. Okay. So seal resource dot. This is something that maybe like AI could help with, because I'm kind of just copy pasting something that I made before, right? And just adjusting some text and properties. So this could have probably been done faster. The flying label, you give it text, you give it an anchor. And this starts with seal resource dot seal. Okay. And that should be it. So now let me just close out some stuff. Oh yeah, the play animation I want as well, true. Which is in the effects scripts. Play animation has the same as a previously declared function. Wait, I had it already. Was there not another one that I was missing? No, I guess not then. No, okay, I can remove this or close it, I guess. Close this. Game handler. Close this. The layer. And then I'll keep these three. And I'll create a new scene. Which is gonna be scene name. I mean seal. Scene 2D. And I can give this script. And I need to create an animation, right? But I can probably just copy the animation from the chip. I don't know how well that's gonna work. Main canvas group, what? Because they don't have to be idly animated. All of the other ones have like an idle animation with shaders and stuff. This thing just needs to exist, basically. Currently I think it just needs one sprite. Does it need info? The issue now is that I might have to display some info text as well, right? Need to create a new animation, bro. Animation player. Need a sprite. New. What is it called? Trigger. And trigger lasts for 0.2 seconds. And can I copy these points, like scale and rotation, on just whatever I want? Let me try it. So I copy these points and I will do new animation called a trigger, which is 0.2. I'll add sprite 2D to it. So I'll do, what was it? Position rotation or scale rotation? Scale rotation. Now I do Control V. Does that work? It seems like it worked. I just need to put like a sprite in here to check, which I currently don't have. I can steal one. Here. That works. Okay, you can actually just copy keyframes even if they're from a different object. Nice, nice. So now what? Also, I have been in a debate whether or not I should use setter and getter functions or just call functions. So for example, in the pocket, right? I will now need a variable which is going to be the seal that it has. But should I do a setter, so whenever I set the seal that it loads the scene, or should I just have a function load seal, and then every time I want to add a seal I should call that? Because every time you put something in that variable slot, it should always, I guess you can work with that logic, right? Do I ever put a seal in a pocket without displaying it? I think the answer to that is no, so I put it in a setter, so I can just always set it. Like it just set it and that's it. The issue is that when I set a resource, the resource does not hold the scene necessarily. I mean, I can just instantiate a new scene, it's fine. I'll do... I'll do it at the end. Export, storage, farm, seal, resource. Seal resource is null. And then I create a setter value. Then I'll just do, well, seal resource is value, of course. If seal resource is null, it will return. Otherwise, it will create a new seal scene, instantiate it. Take rise, thank you. Actually, I haven't even put that much time into rising yet. I just put stuff on that I like and tinkered with it a bit, but I would like to spend more time on like optimizing my workspace. But right now I need to put my time in this game. I forgot I made tea. Shit. How are you doing? Welcome. You have to only by path, so it should hold it. I think what I'm doing is I have a data autoload in which I, at the start of the game, dynamically load all of the resources in. So all of the cards, all of the chips, the scenes and stuff like that. They're just loaded in here. So I think what it would do is it would, well, you give it the resource of the seal. So it has all of the data. It's just going to instantiate the empty seal scene, which is the same for every seal. And then using the data, of course, modify it, put an icon and stuff like that. That's how we do it with the cards. I just have one card scene, and then by plugging in a resource, it's gonna set up the info text, the icon, the special effects, all of that. That's how I'm working on this project. So using KDE. Yeah, I'm still fairly new as well to this. I was a full-on Windows user until 2 months ago, and I decided to try it out. First on my laptop I tried Omarchi, right, because that's like kind of booming. And then now I just did a dual boot for Arch Linux. I was like, whatever, see how that goes. And bro, I don't even want to switch back to Windows. I've been just mainly daily driving this setup. It's been so fun, so easy to use. Okay, where was I? The card scene, pack scene. Where does it load? I need to check. Load scenes. Card scene is pretty. Okay. We have card scene, ball scene, roulette scene, seal scene. I mean, we don't actually need a seal scene now that I'm thinking about it. Instead of creating a seal, we can just occupy one sprite slot on the pockets, right? Seals are never, oh no, they are gonna exist outside of pockets, never mind. I need to show them in the store. They need their own scene. Yeah, I'm stupid. Var seal scene, pack scene. And then in the load, I'll do seal scene, and we plop it in. Okay. I kind of want to see if I can mimic how these scenes are set up, but that's so much code, right? I mean, these scenes are complex. They have like a shadow, they have depth, they have animations. I should copy this at least, because the seal also has an animation player. Does it need a name and info label? I guess it does, right? If you hover over it, it needs to display its info. So on the wheel as well, if you hover over the pocket, it will then have to display its info. Are there any that do not or are not immediately obvious? So if you have a rainbow check, yeah, I guess they need hover stuff as well. Fuck. Okay, so I'm gonna just tell canvas. No. I'm already sure what your requirements are, but scene loading seems like something not really to do in a setter, especially if you want to do lazy or threaded loading. Yeah, I don't. Because it's just, my scenes are not heavy. I'm working with like sprites that are very small. They're like pixelated, so But thread loading is cool for like big scenes. I wanna work on that still. No, I do that already. Yeah, for transitions and scenes, I do threaded loading. But basically, on startup, it loads all of the scenes in memory, and then it just needs to instantiate them. And because they're so small, there's not a like single frame stutter, basically. Like all of these cards, I could use an object pooler for them as well, but all of this comes later. Right now, I'm just making things work. And specifically for this, a setter I think is fine for scene loading, because all like this happens like maybe 4 times or 5 times in a game, where you need to load one tiny little seal on your pocket. So basically, within this wheel, if you ever buy a pocket, I guess the seal scene is already loaded from the shop. You just move it. So it doesn't even need to create the scene. Yeah, actually, I don't need to do scene loading in the setter. No. Let me just sketch out again what I need to do, because I feel like I'm running all over the place. I will... So basically, you have your seal in the shop. You buy it, and just like everything else, it's gonna snap. The issue is you need to select a pocket for it, or should it jump onto a random pocket? That is something we haven't decided yet. But you should be able to choose what pocket it goes on, yes. So once you select the seal, you should click or drag it onto a pocket. That's a whole other system I also need to create. It goes onto the pocket. And then the pocket just takes ownership of that scene. It stores it. And that's it. And with it, it will also get the resource so it can use the trigger effect and everything. That seems simple enough. Which means that I need to... Did I add it already? Seal resource, yes. So I don't need to create a setter here. We can just remove this, and we do export and storage our seal. There. Object pooler until you actually start polishing for perfect. I know my fingers are itching to write on too. I mean, I have written object poolers mainly for I've a game already on Steam called Sky Short. It's like an asynchronous auto battler. I use object poolers mainly for effects, like effects that get spawned in or things like that. So they're limited. You can set the size of the pooler to it can be dynamic as well, but just so it doesn't get spammed and it doesn't have to reinstantiate those scenes the entire time. Since it's just a little effect that goes off, right? But for this game, it seems overkill right now, for sure. Alright, I still have to add the translation into seal resource, because right now it tries to find it tries to find chip translations. No. Translate.find seal and then should this go in its own translation file? Probably not. This should go in the chip translation file, I'm pretty sure. So if I go to, I mean, yeah, sure. No, not chip. But then where? Should I just create a new translation? Data translations. UI, heroes, chips, cards. I guess I should. We don't have many yet, but that might change maybe. Seals. So we need to create a CSV in here, which I think I have to do outside of the folder itself. Let me actually go out of here. CD data translations seals, and I create, is there a naming convention? Yes. Seal. Seals translation. Is it translations? Dot CSV. And then if I do envim seal translations. Okay. Should be in here, and then we just need to import it as a translation, right? Localization, add it doesn't find it. Did I have to do something else? Do I have to? Oh, I have to do right. In the import settings, I need to do CSV translation semicolon re-import, and I think I just need to start with a header as well. Or no? PN. Yeah, this is the first time I'm actually working with translation files. For the other project I didn't do it yet because it's so much work. Let's do one. So seal 0 name will be called rainbow. And then seal 0 info. This pocket now counts as red, black, green, odd, even. This pocket now counts as red, black, green, odd, even. And none of these have to dynamically change in script, so you can keep it like this. Now if I go into like localization, add, it still is not going to find it, but I don't know why. Dot trace, I don't know what to trace. How do I turn this into a translation? I thought it was an import setting, but it's not. Wait, if I do re-import now? Now it did it. Okay, it's simply because I didn't have any text yet. Alright. Now I should find it, close. Then if I do a re-import on it, I'll... Okay, and then if I create my first... I don't have any data on it yet, like I don't have any seals made, right? I'm still setting up the architecture. But now at least my seal resource will actually load in text from the file. Okay. The scene, I'm just gonna keep it really simple. I really don't want to over-engineer like I did here. However, I do need to create the info text. So I'm just gonna go ahead and copy everything. Put that into the seal. And then I think see the parameters. Yeah, we have a working box. The name of the seal, should it be this, like, should I display it somewhere or no? Should it be in the box itself? I mean, the chips also have names that are not displayed, right? Is that a bit weird that cards have names but the other stuff doesn't? Because how do you reference it? How do you... Because, for example, with Imbalatro, you reference the jokers by name. You can reference them by effect, I suppose, but... Issues for later. We have our seal. Now what? What do we do with it? Play sound effect, trigger sound effects. Or there's no cult from the ship effects? Yes. So I also need a trigger sound effect. Audio stream player, trigger, sound effects. Yeah, I actually have to be copying a lot. Unless I again get some help. Okay, so what do I really need to copy? The hover, no. I mean, yes, no, I need a hover. It's gonna be hijacked by the pocket once it's attached to the pocket, but before that, it is going to be... I mean, is it actually gonna look different on the pocket than it will in the shop? Maybe. Because in the shop I want it bigger, right? Then it would appear on the pocket. Or maybe the pocket itself just looks completely different when you put it on. Right, because this is a very small chip, or like... It's gonna appear very small. Rainbow is simple. I can make the pocket look like a rainbow. Purple, also simple. This pocket counts as odd and even. I don't know how I would do that. How would I do that? Pocket now counts as odd and even. I think it's just an icon. Give plus 100 points, that does not even need an... I mean, you need to show that it has it, right? You could put like horns on... Oh, you can also put something on the outside of the pocket, I guess. Mirror, that's a visual as well. Death, destroying the pocket, is already a visual as well. And gold, I mean, that can just be a money icon on it. Okay. I think we should discuss this more, like what this visually looks like. Which right now is just a seal. Wait, you don't want to over-engineer? Or did you mean to say you just don't have the time? I like over-engineering. It's my nature to do so, but I need to restrain myself sometimes. Hard. Really hard. Okay, so... I mean, everything is nested here in a group, which I don't need to do necessarily. Right, or do I want seals? Maybe I just want the scene to actually be mimicking the chip scene completely. Right? I guess it depends. No, let's... Okay. Let's keep it simple. I'll add a collision shape. I mean, collision shape has to be part of a node area 2D, I guess. Area 2D, and then in the area, I'll put these two. And I'll just give it a simple circle shape. I don't know how big this seal will be. I can mock up a simple seal. And the size can be like 15 by 15, I don't know. How big is the ball? Because it'll be a little bit bigger than the ball. Go to scene, small. 40 by 40, okay. So maybe 50 by 50 for a seal. And then... Recent moment of realization and intervention almost when I watched the tutorial of basic script. All like Godot wants you to do it and not a single line. That's how I did things. Wait, what do you mean, that you are making it more complex, or? How long have you been making games, and have you published any? Because I think after you start, because my first test game was also just a mess, and then the second game still a mess, but less of a mess. Now this game is already going better, but there's still a lot of things I wish I would have done different, right? Optimized it, but it's more from a high level like thing. When it comes to code itself, I'm pretty happy with how I'm finally like writing stuff. Okay, I was gonna make a seal. Where's GIMP? Oh, I have GIMP open already, bro. I was waiting for it to launch. Scenes, create new folder, seal. Oh, I have that. I'm stupid. Also should call it seal, not seals. Does that change the path? No. But I would like to do... Yeah, it doesn't load any resources yet, sure. I keep losing my train of thought. You went down the over-engineering route hard since I wanted to have delta and call order control. The place is now orchestrated. Ah, okay. You want to know how I solved that? Because for this game as well, I have a very specific way that I want things to execute, right? I created an object called buffer. And a buffer is basically just an array of callables. So a custom class. And what you do is anything you want to run. So for example, my custom chip effects or card effects or whatever, they all have like a trigger effect or an end of spin effect, this, that. And so whenever a turn starts, it's going to take all of the callables from those effects and put them in an ordered way in the buffer. So that way, when the spin ends, it's just going to run through the buffer and call each callable in order. And that's kind of how I make sure everything stays consistent. And then you can also look at callables before, after. You can slot in different callables that are maybe not part of the cards that you have in play. So there's a lot of like different flexibility as well. No. Slice is actually not that messy. Yeah, that's good. Just don't wait too long with your first project. If it takes more than a few years, then it's hard to actually finish it and see it all the way through. So I try to, like, the first game already took over a year slightly, and that was already too long for me. This one is a few months, And I also would not like to be working on this for a year because it's just too much. What was I doing? I'm loading the seal, right? I was creating a seal icon, which lives in data. Seals, and then I have a folder called icons. And in the icon folder, I'll create my first seal. So I'll create 50 by 50. This will be a test. So I'll add an alpha channel. And well, I guess I'll create an ellipse. No feather. And you know what? I'll do a bit fancy. I'll do from normal red to like dark red purplish. And I'll do a gradient that is circular mode. Shape radial. I do this. Oh, I don't know what that looks like, if that even looks good. Doesn't look like a seal. Doesn't matter, it's a test. It's a test. Export as icons, no, data. Seals, icons. Test. What's the overhead of callable? But I see that if I don't know what the overhead is. If the order is specific but also dynamic, then this makes sense. Yeah, because sometimes I have to reorder them or I have to like add more to the buffer. So that the thing is that I can still slot in stuff before or after. It's like a object that you can just manipulate instead of just stack based like calling, you know. And it's good for me to track, like I want to have a stat system as well that keeps track of everything that goes on, and I can just use the buffers as a way to store that information or relay that information of what actually executed and how, right? That way I can do like a overview screen, whatever. And you can do custom functions on it, so I have like a way that you can check, for example, all the end spin stuff in this buffer, all the things that are from this card in the buffer, you know. Yeah, I hope it goes well. Always fun to mess around with a new project. So, seal. You have a sprite that will have my test icon. Who else close? So now I see what code I'm gonna copy from the chip. So idle time. What was this used for again? Does the chip, does the card also have this? Okay. Well, I'm just gonna copy all of this already because I need that. I also need the hovers here. Set up signals. Right, I also need a focus proxy. Oh damn it, bro, there's so much to it. Okay, I'm gonna see. I'm basically just copying all of this, but changing it a bit. I'm gonna see how good Codex would be at achieving this. I'll use my speech. I'm also gonna do a different model. I'll do extra high. I'm currently creating a seal scene. It is going to be very similar to the chip scene or the card scene, but not exactly the same. It will use the same logic though. It will set up in a similar way. So I need you to help me copy it and make it work like the chip scene does, but just make sure that it interacts well with the seal script and seal resource. Actually, I don't think this is going to work because... Oh, fuck, I wrote it in here. Fuck. Yeah, I don't actually think I would even do that properly. Because... there's so much logic that it doesn't need. I need to do this manually. It's such a headache, man. With overhead, I mean callables or ref counts that I don't really know how they're processed. In the case of my UI, I don't care about the overhead, and yours seems like it would require this approach. Yeah, I don't think it's a big overhead to create a callable, or yeah, to create them and then run them. But I have no idea. I didn't stress test it at all. Was she success with yours? I dig at least aesthetics, even if I barely know what's going on. Thank you. Describe with your code. Yeah, I agree. Me too. That's why Git is a good thing, right? I can always roll it back if it is something I don't like. I'm very active. Like, as you can see, I even made a custom command that just tracks the live changes I'm doing in Git on the left. And then whenever I made anything new, I just committed. So I have an entire log of all the changes I ever made. Allows for a lot of flexibility, of course. But there's a few ways that I try. If I ever use AI, it's not to make stuff for me, because then I cannot follow my project anymore. But it's either to do boring stuff like this, which is copying a bunch of code and just, or changing like one small thing in 100 resources, right? Let's say I create a new system, and instead of adding it into every resource, I add it in a few and ask it to do it in the others. And the way that I can track what it does is through Git, but also I have a skill that is called hand holding. And if I activate it, hand holding, it's basically going to show step by step what it does in the code. Like, hey, I'm going to add these lines of code here. And I just say, okay, hey, I'm going to add this here. And I can say, no, change it. It does it. And then it adds it. So I try and put some safeguards in it, but still it's better for analysis, basically. If I have a bug, it's very good at tracking it down. Like if I do not know why something is not working, or I get a crash, it's able to very quickly find in my code where the issue is. So that's what it's best at, I would say. Because I wrote some physics code in GD2. Okay. Yeah, I mean, in like Godot, as long as you are not instantiating like thousands of scenes or doing some crazy stuff, a little bit of suboptimal use just to make your code cleaner and your life easier seems very worth it. Even if I make my game run slightly worse, going from 200 frames to 190 frames per second is not going to make a big difference, right? Of course, once you start dipping into the realm of where it is actually going to make a difference, or you want to, like on low-end PCs, it might make a difference, then you have to start worrying about it. But I'm pretty sure that creating like 20 callables for a buffer every minute is not going to be too big of a deal. So that's why I'm not worried about it. If I would be talking about hundreds or thousands of callables very quickly every frame, then I would look into it. That's my philosophy, basically, when it comes to optimization. I don't care enough if it's not going to be a big deal. Bro, I'm going slow. But this is also just... This has to go slow. So I need this, I need this. Set anchor. I mean... I guess I need this. The scene will get anchored. Yeah, sure. I need to copy all of the variables as well. Do I just copy the whole script and then just adjust it actually? I don't know, maybe. Oh, name label. Wait, do chips display their name when you hover? Or what? I think I actually just bar for bar copy the chip scene instead of the seal for the seal scene. Which means all of the shit here I can kind of just undo. Or what? Sure. Because it functions essentially the same, except that it's just visually in a different place. Copy all of it, I'll put it in here. I don't actually think it needs a shadow though. Or maybe the shadow goes away once it's on the wheel itself. And then chip out there. It doesn't have a depth, doesn't have an inner, doesn't have a icon. It just has this, which will be my seal, which in this case is bigger than the chip. Wait, that makes no sense. I made it too big. Scale image to 30 maybe. In the collision area. Oh, I need to make this unique. If I don't do it, I fuck it up. Wait. I don't need to make unique. So if I change this size, does it not change the size in the chip as well? Do they not share the same? No, this is 55 still. This one is okay. They don't share the same shape. Premature optimization should be avoided, but I do end up using ref count and then some hot loops where I had. Yeah, I don't think I get that lost in the sauce. I get more lost into the architecture. Like I want to rework a game so many times. If that makes sense. I am someone who is like really down to keep messing with the code and keep, like, mainly in an architectural sense, keep changing it. Wait. I'm going to yoink everything and put it in my seal. Where is it? And now we're just gonna make changes. So instead of chip area, wait, no, I'm in the seal. It's gonna be the seal area, seal. I'll just call it seal icon because I don't think I want to depth the inner and the seal. Or seals are gonna look the same. I don't think so. I always change it later. Seal icon. Maybe I keep the shadow. I don't know yet. I'll keep the shadow for now. So it's gonna be a little bit of manual labor here. Seal icon. Oh, I also need to change this, of course, to seal area, seal icon. Now I have at least something that I'm confident is structured mostly correctly, and the many factors are just learning experiences. That's true. Everything is always a learning experience, right? That's the copium we can use. Name label, info label, text box, sell button. No, there's no cells on. No, there's no cell on seal. Cell canvas group can go. And then focus proxy we keep, of course. And depth can also go, yes. Info canvas group, main canvas group. Play trigger. Okay. So this is my curve. I love export curves. Export curves are so fun to work with. So this is gonna be seal state. Do I put the enum after? Oh wait, I'm stupid. I just passed it. So seal state, you have idle, in shop, in animation, on pockets. Seal state is equal to seal state dot idle. Is dragging, can be dragged in movement animation. Seal rect, anchor node, cached anchor nodes. Overscale, sure, these are just icon overcolor. These are all animation variables. Info box Y pause, I can adjust this. Drag offsets. Yeah. So this is the seal resource. If seal resource, then seal resource dot seal. So this is a setter, so whenever I set the seal resource, in the resource it will get a reference to the scene, basically. Bring it scripting design patterns. I might have actually came up with some. Okay, I have a hate-love relationship with Godot by now, but the resource system is brilliant. Yeah, I love it. Working with custom like curves is so fun. I even made my own custom class called I mean, I made one to export all my data to CSV files as well and import them, but I have one which is called, you know, here, other, rarity. It's called a rarity curve. So basically you can choose, like, I can, wait, what the fuck? Okay, something happened. Minus infinity. Bro, what? Huh? 2.3. Anyway, these are supposed to be rarity curves, but somehow they go completely fucked. What is happening, bro? Hello? Linear. Every time I click on something, it seems to change or create more. Here? Brother man, what? Position X1. Messed up something. Let me check. Rarity curve. So I do this thing. I think I need to not set the tangents and the mode. Now I don't remember what my curves look like. Fuck. This Satyr magic. Try var chipwrecked. What? I might have messed with my curves a little too much, and I'm not sure why. They should all have 10 points. This one has 1,000,000 points here. Is this one as well? $19. They all have 1,000,000. 6, 6, 7, 7, 8. Yeah, they overdo it for some reason. Jenny only learned today that you don't need to declare a separate variable to use a setter. A separate variable? What do you mean? You just mean like this? Maybe I need to delete this. Fix points. Which basically is that whenever I change something here, it is going to fix my points to stay clamped on the 1. If that makes sense. I think 4 points, set point. Huh, but if I do get I'm so confused. I can look at how it looked before. I don't remember. Anyway, I'll just write down that's something I need to do. Fix rarity curves. I don't want to keep jumping in between stuff that I'm doing. I just wanted to show my cool curves, man. Why does it have to be like this? There. Also quickly, if someone is new to the stream, you just found it, don't forget to subscribe to your channel if you do enjoy watching this and learning about Godot. And we need to keep working on this seal or I never get done. So, oh bro, keep fat fingering. Seal rect is the rect of the collision shape. Never idle time. Add to group seal. I would always write an export variable and with my getter setter and then a variable to use. Ah. I don't know what you're trying to say, Alves. Why is my... Hello? I crashed something. Or what? I did? Is it the resource I just adjusted? Bro. Are you kidding me, bro? I think I fucked up my resource. I don't delete comments. People can delete comments itself on YouTube. I don't know what's happening. Why you keep deleting your comments? Okay, so it crashed again. Why? This has to be because of the stupid... I need to manually change the fucking... the file. I might have accidentally looped it. And I don't know how. This is data. No, it's scripts, classes, rarity curve. Here it is. So, wait, they didn't change it. If fixing return, fixing is false. I'm pretty sure this is the thing that's crashing it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna comment this out. I'm not gonna connect the signal. And then maybe... Okay. Still compiling scripts. At least you're not crashing. This is all just for the scene I'm working on, that's fine. And it crashed. Okay, I need to inspect why this is happening. I'll use codecs. My engine keeps can you Pin curve is a resource? Yes, and this internally serializes its points already. Wait, curve is a resource, and this internally serializing its points already, and now you add more points in it. The init only is when you create it for the first time, I think. Because it worked last time. I could open it, close it as many times as I wanted. Everything was fine. But maybe I'm wrong. I just had it set up like this, so you create the curve resource, it's automatically gonna put points for you, and all you need to do is drag them up or down. And the way that it worked is on the change signal, it would make sure that the points are always, they cannot go left or right, they can only go up or down. That was how I created the resource. Or set it up, but it looks like I did break something. Interestingly. And this is the main thing that I like about Codex with game dev. It's very good at checking issues. Here I found it. The most suspicious state so far is the newly corrupted curve data, containing duplicate points plus non-inf tongue. Okay, so I did fuck something up in the curve. It's called whenever the res is loaded, be it just shown in the editor, gives an added points. Okay, so I should basically just make sure that there's a limit of 10 points and I should no longer add. Or I should just remove it altogether, right? Create the points manually. I just wanted to make my life easy, but it doesn't even make sense because I'm not making more curves. I only need 4 curves. I don't even need a custom curve resource now that I think about it, because I can just use a normal curve. I just need basically an array of integers or floats that just set values like at the one interval. It could even be a single dictionary that holds this, right? But I like the visual of a curve, you know? Hard to resist. I can just delete the curves. It's trying to find a solution here. But maybe I'll just go in and delete the curves and then just yeah, basically I don't need them. Which is in data, other rarity curves. I'm first gonna see what it comes up with. Wait, that fits the malformed curve resource being rendered in the inspector. Pretty new seal has many compiled. I guess it's the curve rendering in the editor. That's the issue. Because okay, so the issue is that the tangents, like the, or no, what is it called? Like the way that the curve is modified, right? The slope, they're set to infinite. So it literally cannot render it, and that is what is it? Okay, so it contains 19 points with non-tangents. Tangents. The rare curve contains 20 duplicate points with non-inf tangents. Generate this. Okay, so the changed callback generated this invalid data. Commenting it out prevented further corruption but doesn't repair existing resources. Godot recorded 1, 6, 7, and 2, 6. I can repair both issues next. I'll just see if I can repair it. Okay, can you repair my resources and fix the rarity curve script to not create these extra points? And so here you could use what I talked about earlier, the hand holding skill, so I can see where exactly it's gonna change code, but in this case it's so local. I can just delete the resources, and the script is like 15 lines. Also, I know how the resources are structured in NVim, so you could also just in Vim itself change it, right? Here it shows the data points. Okay, so here it's changing the resource. Only those two were affected, and they were the ones I opened all of them. This is a verification script. I just deleted everything in my... No, wait, fixing... endpoint. Okay. I probably went overkill on the X high, but it doesn't matter. I actually thought the system would have been 10 times easier to add because I wasn't realizing that I need to make a new scene. I wish I need a scene because otherwise I can't display it in the shop, right? I need it to have a bunch of custom behavior. And now I also need to make sure that you can click pockets and select them when you're using a controller. That is annoying. Actually annoying. So basically when you are buying a seal... Oh, fuck's sake. Restore 10 final points, restore the... Okay. Okay, sure. Thank you, good sir. Now we go back into Godot. Where's my pop-outs? Okay, So what I need now is I need to see what actually happened to the rarity curve scripts. So I just keep the domains, I just don't do anything. And I have the custom, I guess I'll keep the custom class because I store the enum and I mean, I just call sample in it when I do get rarity. But in case I want more effects from it in the future, I'll keep it. And then if I look at my actual resources, are they restored? No, they are. Only the common one is fucked up. So this is the very rare, this is the rare. The common is messed up. Because all of these should... Oh yeah, I need to do it in here now because I no longer have the auto correct. The 1, this one should be 1. This one should be 1. This one is 1. I think it starts at like 0.65 and then I went to 0.7, then 0.75, 0.8, 0.85. I don't remember because if I do rare, yeah, that stays under 1 the entire time. I think I'll something like this. 0.85, 6 is 0.9. So you have 0.95. It's just linear here. Okay, so this I think was the last common curve. So these are the rarity curves in the game. Yeah, of course they're up to adjust still, but wait, okay, and it is called, I think, every time the res is instantiated, like being shown in the editor. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. I'm making it extend curve and just keeping an arc array dict might solve it, but then I don't have the visual though. Keep calling add points and not remove the old ones. It's gonna add. Yeah, I should probably, like, you can fix it by adding a check, right? You check, hey, do you have 10 points? No. Okay, just add the 10 points. Like, check at each x value if there's a point there. That's a solution. Do not have custom arguments in init since Godot including editor needs a method signature to be uniform to actually use it. Yep, okay. I'm just gonna work with this for now. They're not my main priority. I need to right now transfer the seal, the chip script to the seal. So setup variables, this one is not really used. I can just strip it here. Setup signals, so signal bus, chip anchor. This has to be seal anchor, but if it's not in my signal bus yet, so seal anchor. I'm gonna go back into my seal. There is no sal button. Focus proxy, sure. For controller support, so set anchor if I'm dragging it and I have a scene. Oh no, if I'm dragging it and the anchor exists. If my current anchor is playing chip panel, no, this has to be played. Fuck, do I need to make a custom container to hold seals? I think I'm using a played card panel, which is a bit weird, but it's essentially in the same like shop spot than the cards, right? From your rarity type. No, I'm not deriving the, I'm setting the data in the inspector. The rarity type is just to give a label to the data that I'm setting. So or unless I'm misunderstanding. You want the points to be edited? Yes. Then sure, it's 10 points and then modify the position. Yep. That could work. And anchor node dot. Yeah, I need to create a custom shop spot, right? Because it's not gonna compile, I'm stupid. Because I have a card container, chip container. I need to build a seal container. I need to think about this for a sec, because if I go down this route, I'm basically rebuilding the whole system from the ground up again for a few seals. Well, seals are so simple in nature that maybe seals are displayed as a card. That makes no sense. So that way when you buy it, or there is actually just gonna be a separate port in the shop. But I cannot reuse the card or the chip container because they're coded to work with chip and card resources specifically. Which is an issue. It is an issue. How do I solve this? I actually just have to create a custom shop. Plate cards container, plate chips container. So I would have to copy the container. I mean, no, I can make it 10 times simpler. Because I'm never loading multiple chips in a single container. These containers are made to stretch and to do a bunch of functionality, but this, I just need to load a single chip on the screen. I don't need even a container. Now that I think about it, I can scrap the container idea completely for a seal. Right? So if anchor node is... I don't need to test if the anchor node is anything. No. If anchor node is, doesn't matter. No. But then how do I know if it's in the shop? No, okay, so if the seal state is seal state in shop, then I cache it and I set it and I move towards it. Yeah, okay. Otherwise, if the node does not exist and I have no anchor node, so you're free, then I'm free. I'm being dragged, basically. I'm surprised and impressed you can focus at all while streaming chatting. Plus you can, I've been a full-time content creator for many years, so I'm used to it. I used to be like playing games, strategy games for hours on days on end. So I'm used to talking out loud about my thoughts. I do work a little bit slower, that is true. But I work more, how do I say it? Like if I work by myself, I work a bit faster, but I also might skip over things or glare over things without realizing. But I'm forced to talk now about my thoughts and everything. So I usually actually pay more attention, surprisingly. So I'm setting up the seal. If there is no resource yet or it does not exist, nothing is happening. Otherwise, seal icon, the texture is gonna be the seal resource.icon. There is no outer, inner, and depth. Label info is fine. And then seal resource.name. We have this with the info. We wait a process frame, and then after the text has been rendered, we check if he still exists. If so, we are going to dynamically scale the font size in order to match inside the box. Yes. The rubber duckies. Okay. So I don't know if I'll need all of these. So track anchor, yes. Move towards, mouse hover, hover active, drag active, visuals updating. I don't think I need this one. I'll check. So what am I listening to? What was the meditative bullcrap? Okay, process track anchor. So if there is an anchor node and it exists, I'm just gonna move towards it. Or I'm gonna set it as my anchor. Okay. Process hover active. If I'm not hovering, nothing is happening. If focus proxy, what was it? Chip outer dot material. This is just seal icon. Seal icon. The issue is that does this have the material? It does. So it just resets the like little floating animation. You don't know the rubber duckies method? Actually no. It's basically what you're doing. I don't know what that is. Enlighten me. Chip rect. So no, I don't need the chip rect. I need the seal rect. Seal rect. Wait, seal icon is this, yes. So this does the floating animation. No, this does the hover. Like when I hover over it, there's a little angling it does as well. If not, if there's no seal rect yet. If not, control support using controller. if you are hovering but not yet hovering, we start it. Otherwise, if we are hovering but we stopped hovering, we are gonna stop hovering. If I'm using controller, it is all about the proxy, which is the button gaining focus, which is done automatically through controller. But it still needs some work. Process drag. If you're not dragging, return. Yeah, if I'm moving, return. All of this is gonna use the same logic, except this not being chip outer, but chip seal icon. Move towards. So this is the animation that can stay exactly the same as well, where it's moving towards a certain point, a certain anchor. Yeah, so this automatically updates the info in the name as long as you're looking at the text, which is mainly done for when I can live updates. When there's variables in there or values that can change. I don't think that's necessary for seals, but I'll keep it just in case. I don't want to have to re-edit in the future. So you try to explain your code design to someone, or rather something. I guess the person who coined it used a rubber ducky. Ah, interesting. I've never heard of it. But I don't even have to think about it at this point because process visual depth I can skip. But process visual depths here. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I've just done it so much that I don't have to think about it too much. But I get sidetracked more easily. I already have trouble staying focused whenever I have anything else happening. And so when I stream and I start talking about something and I show something, and I lose my train of thought very quickly. So I have to make sure I always remember where I'm at. Which right now I just know I'm going down a script so I can continue. I've been thinking of what videos I can still make for the channel that would be interesting. And I don't know, man. I feel like all of the videos that actually do well and people want to watch have been made already for Godot. And I would do more like niche game dev stuff. Process idle. So this is the idle animation that I will keep. And that is all gonna be on the chip icon, the seal. Bro, I keep fucking up. Seal icon. Seal icon. I can also just go through the script and change every instance of chip outer. Let me do that. So that was colon %s/chip outer/seal icon, and that should have fixed all of that. Process, yeah, I was in a process idle, yeah. So now every instance has now been renamed. So the mouse is hovering. If I'm dragging, nothing happens. Otherwise, it will... I don't use the tooltip functionality right now, but still, it's good to have. Get parent, move child self. Get parent. Okay. It shows the info text and the name, plays a sound effect. If I have a seal resource, I will trigger hover on it. Because some, yeah, they have custom animations, of course. And here I'm tweening a seal area, scaling, chip icon, modulate. What is wrong here? What is wrong in this line? Chip icon. Yeah, seal icon. Bemodulate? I highlights it, I guess. Seal rect. Oh. I need to change the rect together with the scaling. New stuff seems to be the stuff left. Like I watched to Demi's videos because of an end up being one of 5 people to whom it actually might be relevant. Yeah, I would do it more for love of the game, right? Which I guess would be the case because I want to be a full-time game dev more than a full-time content creator like I used to be. I just do it for fun. But it's still nice if you can have successful videos, right? Of course. So I wish I would like to do maybe more overarching stuff when it comes to game. Like one thing I don't like about game dev YouTubers is they're like my day in a life, or like this is how I'm the most productive, this is my setup, this is how I organize my files, because most of them haven't even shipped a game or are just not successful, right? There are some successful game dev YouTubers, but it's still all so trivial. It's like they just know the videos do well. That's the content that can still do well that I think is still a bit left out there. I still need to prove myself as well. I only have one release that is like, I don't know, almost 2,000 copies sold, but that's it in 2 months. This one I hope does better. It seems way more promising because it's more mainstream. But I feel like only then, after you've proven success, you can actually go and make those kind of videos. I can do more technical stuff, but that's just not what people care about. Okay, so mouse hover. The tooltip. There is no sell button. Did I not have to do sell button on hover? I guess not. Wait. Oh no, that's on right click. True, it's not on hover. Seal area. Seal icon. Seal rect is getting the shape. So right mouse click shouldn't do anything because I'm not going to be selling. Hide sell button can be gone. So here it is. If I click and I'm hovering, not dragging yet, but it can be dragged, then it will check if the state is in shop. And also it checks if the anchor node is, no, it should not do that. It should just check if anchor node is not equal to null. Otherwise, if the seal state is equal to in play chips. Wait a second. On pockets. What line was I at? Here. On pockets. And anchor node is not equal to null. $2K sales doesn't sound bad for a start. That would help me keep going for additional quarter. It's a yeah, but I'm doing it with a partner as well. So we also have a ref split, and we also poured money into the game. So it's a bit more complicated than that. It's not just the sales number is just a number. You cannot base too much of it. It just shows the interest in the game mainly, but when it comes to revenue, it's a whole other story. So if logic.current dragging seal, current card anchor, current dragging chip, current dragging card, current dragging seal. I feel like I'm breaking something in some way, and I don't know yet what. What is this? Icon tween. Goes to white, okay, sure. Let's click is this. So I just check if I clicked or if I dragged instead. Right. Seal state is equal to seal in shop. I feel like there's no way this is gonna work right away. Because I still need to wire in how they get instantiated in the shop in the first place, right? If it's a right click, it checks if you can sell, but this is not happening. Restore cached anchor. Yeah. Check info positioning. On focus proxy pressed. So it's the same as clicking it. If the state states the check if bought. Okay. They should also, I guess they should come at a cost, right? If seen as card, if seen as chip. Yes, okay, so this is something I still need to tinker with. Make sure that I can buy stuff. And another reason I spend so much time on tooling and figuring out a good architecture, even if it's widely for engineering, for what I'm doing. I like tooling as well. I've made a lot of plugins and a lot of like helper scripts and stuff like that. For example, one thing I don't use it that much anymore is like inline. For example, okay, I'll show you. If I do hashtag I from insert and it's write me a short hello world print statement, and then I do slash hashtag to close it, you can see Godot spins off in the background on Spark, and here's a hello world print statement. Like I made a whole integration of codecs in Godot, so I can do quick inline code snippets, because having another instance of codecs open in order to have it mess with your scripts and things like that, I don't like it, right? This way I can directly, I insert it in the code myself. So you basically send off a prompt, it's gonna generate whatever you want, so usually a small snip of code, and it's gonna insert, the plugin is gonna insert it in that line that you specifically set. Which I like. It's a cool plugin. I don't use it much because I don't code much with AI, but in case there's like some boilerplate code I need to do, like fetch me some URL, instead of spending the 5 minutes writing it, I can just quickly get it right. No. Yeah, one thing as well is if you work on a game, just build a bunch of custom classes and make sure they're reusable. That's what I'm doing. Like a lot of things, like even the controller support with the like focus proxies, which makes you allows you to basically focus any item in the game dynamically. It's like just a custom script that I make, custom class, and I can reuse it in any game project. And I'm trying to do that for everything. The buffer that I made, I can reuse, things like that. So it doesn't even have to be tools, it can just be any game script that you make. That's pretty crazy, and I will not use it. It's open source on GitHub. If you go to that's called Codex. Godex with a G. So this one. Just a plugin that you can get. It's in the App Store or in the Godot store as well. Both the old and the new asset store has Godex. It works on Linux, works on Windows. I had an older version of this, but I had to update it. Because with API, it costs you money, right? But this is using the CLI that you locally install. So you use your subscription or a free model even. But yeah, I like working on plugins like that. What else do I have? I have a template that I use. I made my own Steam uploader, so if I ever want to upload to Steam, I don't know if you've done that already, if you bought a game and are working with Steamworks, but it's uploading to Steam is such a headache, it's so annoying. So I made a Steam uploader that just takes care of it. You just click on Q run and it's going to automatically export everything to Steam for you. Everything is preset and built for you. Also open source. What else? Fetch my scripts is a single button. I don't have it on this project, but you can just fetch. Oh, I do have it in this project. You just link it to a GitHub that you have, and then it's gonna look through the GitHub, find all the folders that have scripts in them, and then display them. And these are all like scripts I've made. Like better timer is just a better timer in Godot. A tween animation, a file system, and you click on it, and it automatically downloads and imports that script. So you can just reuse scripts that you made in a GitHub very easily. And these are all a bunch of custom classes, like an admin class, the autofocus. I still need to add to this. I have a debugger that I made, object pooler, animations. Spooled is like a threading tool to multi-thread. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked again, but yeah, that just like if you work on a project, just taking care of all that, it's such a lifesaver. One thing I wrote is a Gizmo wrapper, so I don't have to create a new plugin for every little thing I need Gizmo for. Also decluttering, yeah. I also have a script that I can just click and it's gonna automatically take a bunch of plugins from Godot that I want, or any GitHub repos, and just put them in the project to set up. Instead of manually always having to download the plugins and the scripts, you can just have a single script that does it immediately. Anyway, clear anchors for chop purchases. If anchor node is not equal to null, because I'm just using a regular anchor node, not a custom one. Oh, actually, I don't even need to do this. Anchor node is null. Yeah. Units between duration. I'm just moving towards an anchor. Take from deck. I can keep the animation, I guess, but I won't be using it. Delete. I do not need care about this. If I have a seal resource that is referencing this scene, then it will delete it. Seal resource dot seal will be null. I'm deleting with an animation, it will play that animation. Okay, so in theory, I just ported it. Setup seal not found in base self. Did I not change the function name? No, I did not. Okay. We have the seal. POC. Now what? Right. We need to actually do something with it. So seal resource also should have a cost, right? ID seal effects. They have a cost, a rarity, a round gate, a difficulty. That's mainly it. Okay, and now we can start creating our first seal. So if I go into data, seals, and I just need to go into, create new folder, seal, no, just resources. Create new resource, which I will go for the seal resource I've created. I call it test. And I need to create an effect. So folder effects. In there I create a new test effects, which is called a seal effects, inheriting from my custom class. Class name test001. Then we have here our seal resource. So it automatically populated the name and the info from my translation file here. The seal translation, we have it here. I go to a different ID, it doesn't do anything. How distracting was thinking out to open source some of it as well. So I'll try to keep things smaller. Yeah, it's the biggest lifesaver that you, or the biggest help for yourself that you can do is making things as modular as possible, so you can reuse it in as many different projects as possible. And with tools as well, I love making custom tools, but there are a lot of good existing tools as well that you can look into. Like people are making so much for Godot, you can find almost anything you want, but it's always more fun to make it yourself. So seal effect, I can use my test effects. Cost, I'll make it like 2. Rarity, common, round gate, complexity, easy, whatever, right? So that's this setup. Now, there was something in the shop handler, right? To check if you buy something. Oh, but the logic is so fucked, because then if I buy it, I need to make sure I put it on a pocket. So I need to drag it onto a pocket. How do I do this? Is there a difference between clicking and dragging, right? If you click, you need to be able to select all the pockets as well. Yeah, this is gonna be shit. Because for chip and card, what happens is you drag it away from the shop, you buy it if you have the money. Seal will be different. You drag it away from the shop, you buy if you have the money and if you are hovering another pocket. Basically. So how you do this is actually, it's not that hard. In Logic, I can create a variable which is current hovering pockets. And then in the pocket itself, there is a single function here. Play hover, play unhover. So I can just do logic dot current hovering pocket is equal to self. And here it just checks if logic and pocket, if you are still hovering yourself, then just set it to null. Logic current hovering pocket is null. And this way I have access to very simply if I'm hovering a pocket or not. So that actually makes my life 10 times easier, because now I can go back into the shop handler. I'll copy all this. And I'll just do if seen as seal. If is chip anchored to shop. What the fuck does this lead to? Shop chip container, plate chip panel list. Okay, that is a lot of logic. I can just check if... I think I did this before I could at the enums. So I can just do if seal.state is not equal to seals. Wait. Seal state in shop. And this is seen. If seen dot seal resource dot cost is bigger than the money, you cannot buy it. If game object dot chips dot size. Okay, so this doesn't matter, but I can check here. If logic dot current hovering pocket is null, you are going to skip. Is logic a singleton view model? I also want a separate logic system aside from node scripts, but I want more complex. Yeah, it kind of... So I had an idea of how I wanted the architecture to work. I don't know if I have it here in... what's it called? Let's... I don't know if I wrote it down in the diagram, but I had a whole idea of how I wanted to structure it. And basically, logic is where I wanted the actual game logic to take place. So if I want to start a spin, whatever, it's going to go there. But it will delegate everything. So starting spin is, for example, you need to go to your game object. So I have a game object as well that holds all of the game data. I have a game handler that transmutes that data. And then logic communicates with it. So I guess I can do it here instead. 1920 by 1080. Basically, I have like logic. And then I have like a game object that holds my game data. I have a shop object that holds my shop data. I have all these things, right? And then I have a mid layer. These are static classes. So these are not objects, they're ref counted. And the only purpose of them is to call functions on with a reference to this object. So for example, if I want to change a score or if I want to take some cards from the deck or whatever, I call that function from logic, from either new spin, start spin, leave shop, whatever, right? So the high level function is going to then call this with a more specific function, like take cards from a deck, and then this will go to the game objects that you give it, and it will take the cards from that game object, basically. And then the same function that is like and spin can also call the shop objects through a mid layer. So that's basically how I structured it. Everything is an object, and they have static classes that like are supposed to change them or interact with them. Does that make sense? That's how I try to decouple it. So right now, this script is the shop handler. It's not the shop itself. It's basically data and functionality decoupled. So the shop holds all of the data. You also have the scene, right? So you have the shop scene, which is the visual, and then you plug the data, the shop object, that holds the cards, the whatever, right? The data. And then you have the shop mutator, which is this, the shop handler, which is gonna handle the data and some animations and stuff like that. And this can be called from the logic script and anywhere else. If you do a bilateral type single screen game, then a single view model approach to the main logic seems sensible. Yeah, I still wanted to break it up better. I still am worried of a God object, right? Because my first game has that. It has like one script, one auto load that does almost everything. That is not good. That's why I have, how many auto loads do I have? I have data, which just is supposed to load in all the data, right? This holds all the scenes, it holds all the graphics, all the colors, all the color codes, right? Then I have game. This holds all the like top level stuff, like your save files. It holds, it starts up the game, it closes the game. It starts a new run. Logic is the run itself. So this does all the logic in a run, in a game. Then I also have a signal bus because I hate having signals. Like, it makes sense to have a bunch of signals, specific signals in certain scripts or certain scenes. But there's also these global signals that I want to send and a bunch of things want to subscribe to. So I have a signal bus where you call, for example, new turn, then a bunch of things are going to react on that, right? Then I created one recently, controller support. This is just supposed to figure out controller support, you know, hook into a bunch of stuff. And then this was something else that I would change. This can actually be deleted. This was an MCP that I wanted to work with, but it doesn't work. Yeah, I can delete it. Anyway, so scene not state. Okay. And then it tries to find a free slot, but it should not do this, no. Because if you buy here, you're gonna immediately attach to the pocket. If scene anchor node. If scene.anchor node is not equal to null. Ah, okay, no, this doesn't matter either. Scene.anchor node. So now I'm gonna anchor it to the pocket. So I do logic, current hovering pockets, and now I don't think I added that to the pocket scene yet, where it will go. So the seal, I'm just gonna use a marker as well, which I will call seal anchor, which will go like here. Sure. And this is going to be a unique name, and I'll add it to the pocket script. And this is the beauty of also making this a class, everything a class, because now in the shop handler, if I do anchor node is hovering pockets dot seal anchor, it will find it. Scene dot seal states will be seal states dot on pockets. A singleton row having the domain logic in a separate controller and only using high level commands on views and manageable routing the game state seems sensible, but I'm saying that as someone who went with a similar design, I'm somewhat proud of it. I mean, yeah, that's good. The first game I made, I'm scared to ever look at the code again. I made a game in 1 week and put it on Steam as a challenge to see if I could do it. And I learned a lot from it, but I learned that architecture is a skill. But it's fun. I like it. I like it a lot. logic dot buy seal. And so if I go to logic, where's the buy chip, buy card? What is the difference? I don't know. Buy seal. The bot seal resource is equal to shop handler. Wait, what? So buy seal. So shop handler has another function. Buy card, buy chip. Where it just pops the data out of. Okay, so this is the only issue that I have right now, is that the shop handler right now needs to communicate to the game logic, hey, a buy has happened, right? Top layer, you need to handle this. But then it needs to go back in the shop object to take out the whatever you bought from there. So I need to kind of go back into shop handler dot buy seal, and then seal dot seal resource. And then we need to go here and add that by seal. So we give our shop object and our seal resource. But the main issue is shop object dot seals pop at shop object dot resource. I need to now also modify my stupid shop object. Yeah, I feel like I'm over engineering this, because now I need to go to shop object. I need to create a new export variable called seals, which hold seal resources. I need to change the logic in here later as well. To actually offer it in the shop. A skill you can compensate with a lot of refractors. Your channel is underrated and you a cracked dev. Thank you. I've only been doing it for a year and a half about. I appreciate it. That kind of stuff, I just made a custom logic event thing that I do not like signals. Signals are cool, but they get messy. I want to use them better for sure. I'm learning a lot with this project as well again, right? Every project is a learning experience. Right now I wanted to like hyper optimize the architecture, but I'm realizing that there's issues with my approach still, which is like I'm bouncing between so many layers that adding a simple thing right now, like this new mechanic, I need to adjust like 10 different scripts. Do all of them have, I mean, this needs a lot of custom behavior. I guess this is a really big implementation, right? It's one of the core systems of the game, but still, I feel like I'm reusing a lot of code and I need to just make small tweaks, which is annoying. Where am I? I'm in the seal. No, I need to go back to the shop handler. No, I need to go back to the logic where I'm doing the buy seal. So it pops the seal from the shop handler using, from the shop object using the shop handler. Game. And then I go to my game handler, buy seal. Take in my game objects, my bot seal. And now I need to go into my game handler where I have the buy card, where's buy chip? Where there's more custom logic because I need to change my game objects. Right? So now I have buy chip. Buy seal. Buy seal. Seal resource. I'm getting really hungry. I should get something to eat. Update money display. Spend money, seal resource that costs, if update money display, yeah, okay. Game object dot seals dot append seal resource. And so now we go to our game objects, which holds all of our like main game data. So it holds my deck, my hand, my discard pile, my chips, my destroyed chips, and now also my seals. The thing is, this only holds the seals, it doesn't store which pockets they're on. So actually, my seal script itself, or my seal resource I should say, will also store the pocket it's associated with. It needs to know that, right? So I know my seal, but pockets, it also needs to know. And so if I now go back to the logic, update profile handler dot seal bot. Well, this thing I'm just gonna comment out because I feel like, how do I comment again? Control, what was it? Because I need to also update my profile. For stuff like the character entered a door, and the door, since it has a ref to logic manager, will notify it about to enter. Learning Godot coming from web dev, and I'm struggling with the movement math. The docs are confusing. Movement 2D. Okay, I don't have too much experience with that, but this is just a little bit of trial and error. Like you've been doing this. Kudos, bros, commitment. Thank you. Thank you. But for, yeah, movement, you just gotta see it. The thing is, you get very quick feedback in Godot, so you can just, there's a lot of tutorials about 2D movement systems, luckily, because most people want to make a platformer. So if you look up any platformer beginner guide, they will share you the basics. Like, it's very simple. It's like 20 lines of code or something to get a character moving and completely working. I think I don't have one specifically on it, but I have made it in one of my videos. I don't remember for what. But then you can just change the values. You can like see how that affects it. You can just add runtime, add things in the code, and see how that changes your character. So, what movement? For 2D movement, most like the number one game people make is a 2D platformer. So that's what I'm assuming. But if it's a top down, it's even easier. But yeah, you just need to like learn it once from a beginner tutorial and then mess with it, and whatever you want to do with it, try and articulate that and figure out how you translate that into code. It's just trial and error. You don't need to know how to do it from the beginning. I didn't know how to do shit when I started making games, but by doing, you learn. Show shop purchase money label. What the fuck is this function? Source node if cost smaller. Okay, this is like a default save gate. Okay. I'll go back to this line. And instead I'll put in my seal. Bot seal.cost. And then we also have animation handler.buy seal. So we also have an animation handler that I now need to update. Oh my god. Actually insane how many scripts I need to touch. Buy seal. Okay, we're almost somewhat there because we basically buy the seal, right? Check it bought. And then if this returns true, then logic.buy seal, it will use the game handler to buy the seal. And I also need to pass in the pocket, right? Bought seal. Pockets. Which is actually the current hovering pocket. And then if I go to this function, target, pocket, pocket. Spend the money. And you go to game check seals, append. I have to do pockets. Wait. Target pocket dot seal. Resource is equal to seal resource, and seal resource dot pocket is equal to target pocket. And where does it create the actual seal? Buy seal, seal. Oh, because the seal scene is already created in the shop, right? Checks this as, yeah, okay. So that means that in the game handler itself, I can also do target pocket.seal, which requires a scene is equal to seal resource.seal. You try to make a platformer, ended up bypassing all of what Godot wants you to do. For example, examples are only good for example project. For example, velocity. Oh, 3D transforms with bases and all that stuff is confusing. Yeah, 3D is confusing. I tried a bit of it as well because for one of our next games we were thinking of doing 3D as well. But it's a whole different ballpark. I'm good at strategy games. I like playing strategy games. So I like making them as well. So I like diving into that sort of stuff. And that architecture and things like that. It's not too much like animation heavy or things like that. Yeah, 3D is difficult. Need to know the order in which to multiply by those matrices. I remember that for quaternations it's the other way around. Movement. I did make it to the platform test thingy. It's not on this PC because this is a dual boot. It's still one I made on Windows, but it's very satisfying if you get the movement system to work well. It's actually not that hard to do like wall jumps and stuff like that and slides for 2D, right? I had fun with that, but I never made it into something. This was just a test. I like doing tests just to see if I'm capable of doing something. Like, can I make that movement system? Can I do this? Can I do that? Can I make Snake in half an hour? Which is a video on the channel. It's good to set some challenges and experiment. But I think I'm done with this whole logic. What happens right now is if you buy a seal, it goes through the whole pipeline and it touches every object it has to, I'm pretty sure. The only thing I need to do is now, I need the seal to rotate with the pocket. Or I just add it as a child of the pocket. Right? I do a reparent. Oh, that's, yes. No, because if I reparent... No, reparent seems good. Which maybe happens in the logic? No, it happens in the... Game handler, but this is just supposed to handle the data, right? So it should be no logic. It should be here. So I want to first know if this works, to be honest, because I don't even know if this will work. And also I only have 15 more minutes and I have to go. But it's been a somewhat productive stream. I wish I could have done way more, but I didn't expect the overhead of this to be so large of making a seal. I thought it would actually be really easy because logic wise it's easy. You just slap a modifier on a pocket. Square root of 2 got me losing my shit. Let me think. I still need to add them in the shop. Okay. So the next step is when I'm creating my shop, seals should appear, and I'll make it 100% for now. And then all I need to test is if the effects work, and I need to clean up everything. That's nice. So new round. Shop handler, setup shop. Clear, await, clear seals. Also doing this and then put it here. What? What the fuck? So clear seals shop object dot seals dot clear. Bro, it's so stupid actually. Available seal list, yes. I don't load them yet, right? I still need to load seals dynamically in my data object, I guess. So we should also do this. Heroes, rarity curves, variable seals, which is going to be a dictionary of their ID with their resource. Instantiated empty. Cards load. Load seals. And I need, of course, a path. So const seal seals path string is gonna be here. And then I can just copy this. And I go to load seals. If the seals path does not exist, it will throw an error. Seal resource files will be the seal path. I get all the files. Or seal file and seal resource file. The seal file will remove the remap suffix. Then the full path will be the seal path, and I join the seal file with the proper suffix, and then the seal resource that I load from it will be the full path. And I go to, I create a new entry in my seals dictionary. Did I just call it seals? Yes. Which will be the ID and the The value to the key will be the resource. So now I'm loading all my seals, which currently is just 1. What distro is this? This is Linux. This is Arch. Pure Arch. Okay, so seals are loaded. We can go back into our shop handler, which does available seal list, array of seal resource is get available seals. Okay, so if I go to get available chips and I yoink, right? Get available. I feel like I should be reusing all these functions more. I'm rewriting so many of them. That doesn't make sense, right? But at this point, I'm too deep lost in the sauce, and I don't need to be adding anything after seals. But this is something to remember. If I can plug in variables in a function instead of rewriting it and changing the variables, that's how I should do. And Orcas. Arch, by the way, scary people who live amongst. It's so easy to use, man. I've not used any distros before. The only distro I've used before this, okay, I've tried Mint. So I had an old laptop, I wiped it, I put Mint on it, but I didn't use it. I just wanted to know what it was like to use Linux, and it was easy to use. It's like one of the easiest things to set up. So then I tried Omarchy, which I really enjoyed, and I know that was Arch based, right? But I was like, how hard can it be to actually just have Arch as a main driver? And it's so easy now in the age of AI because you can just ask any questions and it can help you out so easily. So I just have, the first thing I installed was Codex, and it taught me how everything works. And then I know how to program a bit, so that helps as well, right? To create my dot files and to... I also knew Vim motions already, because even though I don't use Vim, or didn't use Vim, now I use Vim, I'm using a Vim plugin for Godot, right? Because it's just so useful. I wanted to learn it. So anything that is like... I can't type. Seals list. Anything that I know is a productivity boost, I usually put some time into. And I know that learning how to use Vim motions was gonna pay off really well. And it does. I think it's one of the best things I've put a bit of time into. So yeah, I guess. I don't know if that was an answer. Data.seals.values. If seal resource.roundgate is bigger than the game currently, we continue. Otherwise, we add it to the seals lists. And we return the seals lists. Okay. Which means we have our available seals. And we need to create a weighted array. Yes. Okay, yeah, we need to create a weighted array. So, what? Weighted seals array. Get weighted array. So this thing I did reuse the same function for get weighted array, and I just pass in available seals lists. Then I just need to do, well, the issue is that the contraband shop can either display a card or a seal, right? Oh, that's some other custom logic I need to do, which probably comes after. which I will do. I'll write a comment here. Then decide if it should display the contraband card or seal. I don't have time to do all the testing, sadly, and like figure out if everything works. That's gonna be for tomorrow. Yeah. They don't go high poly unless you do those visuals for a joke. So I can basically copy this and then go to for shop objects dot contraband shop size seal shop size, which doesn't exist yet. So I need to go to my shop objects, and here I'm going to seal shop size. If available, seal card list is empty, you do nothing. Available seal list, what am I doing? Random index, I'm gonna get a random weighted based on the weighted array I created using my shop RNG object. Yes, so weighted seal it array, seals array, shop object dot seals dot append available seal list, and get a random index that I generated using my weighted array. Okay. I think this was enough work for today. So what did we do? We actually created the whole seal, or the base seal shell. We created a resource, a custom resource. We created a custom scene that behaves mostly the same as a chip. Custom effects. All of this still needs work. I also made sure that they now load into a shop, they load in data. They have their translations already plugged in. The shop populates them, or doesn't populate, like it loads them. I still need to figure out the logic to put it in place instead of the contraband card. Technically, you should be able to hover them already and buy them when you hover over a pocket, and it should go to that pocket. I want to test that though, and I can do that by just going into, I think, my main scene, my game layer, and I will add a scenes seal. I'll add a seal here because why not? Add it into the cards layer. And this seal does not have any data though. And why is it off-centered? What the fuck happened, man? What did I do? Ah, it's the shader. Move towards curve is empty. What do you mean? Ah, of course it's empty. I need to set it still. The chip has something like this. New curve. But it had 2 points. I also had a point here. And a point here. And this one, I think, goes to 1.2 or something. It doesn't go higher? Wait, how do I do this then? Just has 2 points. I just do it by angling this. Okay, sure. There. And now if I go to my game, here's my chip. It broke because I didn't give it a resource yet, of course. So I need to go into my node here, into my seal, and I'm gonna give it a resource, which will be, wait, can I tests there. No exception function hover. Did I not add the hover? Wait a sec. So I use Windows 10s, I use to install, and that's fine. Shout out to the 0.5% of Windows 7 users who are still rocking it. Really? Did you start directly with Godot? Yes. I didn't try Unity or anything like that. I just jumped straight into Godot because it seems so promising and fun. It seems like a fun engine to work with, you know, with all the nodes. Oh, thank you, Nice Mice. I enjoy streaming. I might be back soon again. I enjoy it. It's just I need to sometimes dial in and just do the work, you know, which is boring, and that probably doesn't make for good streams. What was the bug again? There was no hover in the resource, but chip resource, has it a hover? It does have a hover and an unhover that I forgot to copy. Seal resource. Yeah, I only did the translation stuff. True. So now it should work. So I'm gonna load in my game. Ah, I need to add more. Okay. Sure, bro. So I need to do chip to call, which is seal resource, which is instead gonna be called seal effect call. If seal effect has that method, it's gonna call it, otherwise no. So this is just in order to have custom hover effects that I write in the effect script. I just need to check if it has the method. If so, use it. 90 Spooky TV show smoke? What do you mean? Okay, so here it is. I need to out of bounds 1 on dictionary, add contraband chord. What? I've never seen this before. Add contraband. What the fuck? Load shop. For chord in contraband chords? Is there 2 contraband chords? Why does it do this? Huh? 1 in logic current shop contraband chord size. There's more. Huh? Now suddenly you're telling me there's more chords being loaded or what? Shop objects. For n in contraband shop size. Does this trigger twice or what? I'm gonna do a print. Okay. No, it only loads one chord. Only loads one chord. Then why does it send? Huh? Control one chords that append. This is in the shop itself. You add a contraband chord. Chord global position. Contraband place. Did I do something wrong? What did I do? First shop, ship. Wait, I'm doing contraband twice? Wait. For adding contraband shop size, for adding contraband, I'm doing it twice. I'm blind. I am adding 2 contraband chords. Okay, that was just dumb. So now I'm gonna load back in the chip resource and again see if it works. Just hold up. Cards layer, seal resource, putting in my test resource. Okay. Oh! So we have our rainbow. It's not formatted correctly because it didn't load with this in. This pocket now counts as red, black, green, odd, even. Fuck. And I can take it and I can hover over a pocket, and I mean it doesn't buy or sell because it's not. If I set the states in shop is 1, so I'm gonna change the state to 1. Where is it? States. Oh, it's in here, right? No. In shop. So now it's in shop. Invalid property state on base of seal. Yeah, where? What line of code are we talking about? If seen dot state. Seal has a state. It's called seal state, not just states. Okay, I might have typoed it in a couple places then. Seal state. Okay. Now I'm trying to spend money. Invalid access a property or key costs on object nil. Seal resource. Ah, because it's not loading in script. Okay, everything is somewhat working though. Let me delete the scene from here. Okay, I am gonna commit this. Work in progress. Seals. Added scene. Resource. Effect. By logic. What did I add? Translations. And I don't know, wiring. To do. What do I still have to do? Fix up wiring, bugs, make appear in the shop, attach to pockets, trigger on the pockets and rewrite some of the scene logic there. Oh yeah, I use GAC as a shortcut for get add commit, so I do all of it in one go, and I just do a push. And we had a pretty good session today, I think. Okay. Yeah, I'll be back again soon. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you hanging out. Let me quickly catch up first. So maybe I have an artist check on exact color choice and effects. Yeah, I picked in past year. Godot went out of for multiple reasons. One was indeed being fun, being able to change or bypass what you don't like. Would you say you're fluent in 2D scripting? I'm not. I wouldn't say so, no. I mean, I think I can make games, but I don't know what the threshold is for being fluent in 2D scripting. Like, I don't know, I don't use the physics system much, so I guess I'm not too familiar with it, but I know how to use it. Past job, we would have a canary workstation on each Unity update to check whether it's so stupid. Little design choices you dislike, being open source and fairly bare bones. Yeah. Ease of extensibility and not being able, yeah. I like it for a lot of reasons. It's also just fast. It compiles really fast. It starts up fast. It's a single executable. You can change it so much. Like if I hear all of the issues that Unity and other game engines has, it's insane. I'm so happy I don't have to struggle with that. Cool stream. Wished I got to it earlier. I'll be back soon. Don't worry. Thank you guys for hanging out. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new, and maybe a longer stream soon. Yes. All right.